welcome back to the Real World Garage. We're back here with Project Camry. Time's marched on. It's been a few weeks. Things are moving a little slower than I hoped they would, but as with any project vehicle, it usually gets pushed to the back burner for stuff that you're driving every day, trying to keep it going. But anyway, just wanted to bring you along, give you a quick update, and show you where we are. Show you what we did, and put the little method to go along with the madness and why I did some of the things the way I did. So let me readjust the camera and bring you along, and I'll show you what's up. Okay, one of the first things that I did was, after I removed the radiator, I went ahead and removed the AC compressor. I left the lines connected so I didn't have to discharge the system, and all I had to do was undo the electrical, remove the bolts, and just gently place the compressor towards the front of the vehicle. That way I can leave the system charged. That'll be a cost savings, not having to replace the Freon, a time savings of not having to go buy the Freon or have to vacuum the system and pull it back down and replace the dryer, because any system that you're going to have open for more than about 20 minutes, you really should replace the dryer. So that said, let's move over here and I'll just show you what else I've done. I went ahead and I removed the air box, the old battery, and a lot of the associated parts like the starter. Went ahead and got the exhaust disconnected, and I had to in order to remove the wiring harness, I actually had to remove the throttle body, move it forward a little bit, and there's a bracket that goes underneath, goes across, that the coils mount to, and also helps support the intake manifold. And so I've got that. I pulled it to the side, and I've just got it laid off to the side. The wiring harness, there's one connector, and it goes to a vacuum switch on the back of the motor that I'm not going to be able to get to until I remove the axle. My arm does not articulate more than one place, so I couldn't reach it. I did everything I could, and I really would like to question the Toyota engineer who designed and placed that particular switch where it is located, because it is almost completely inaccessible. Anyway, we've carefully removed, like I said, we removed a lot of our parts and laid everything to the side that we could lay to the side. Left starter hooked up to the battery terminal, just undid the minimal stuff to be able to lay it to the side and get it out of the way. And like I said, I try to take this stuff apart with thought in mind of being able to reuse a lot of these parts. Now, there's a lot of stuff like those hoses that go to the firewall back there for the heater hose. I'm going to replace those, but I still carefully took them apart, just for good measure. I didn't do it junkyard style. If I was removing this motor junkyard style, it would already be out and sitting on the ground. But I have to save a lot of the stuff because this is a 99 and the engine I'm using is a 96. So I want to be able to pull the 99 parts that I need from this one to make it work on that motor of the 96. It's I want to say the differences are going to probably come in. I'm probably going to have to use the 99 fuel injection, and definitely going to have to use the coils, since the 96 motor actually has a distributor. So anyway, that's why I have been carefully disassembling everything, because I'm not exactly sure, 100% sure, what I will end up having to reuse. So but anyway, today we're going to pull the axles out and try to get this motor to where it will be ready to come out in the next day or two. So with any luck, I'll be able to get it out. Okay, so we've removed our brake caliper, have it hanging up out of the way. We went ahead and undid our spindle, undid 2 bolts here, slid the axle back, and now we're prepared to go up underneath and try to get the axle out there. It's going to be a little tricky on these Camrys. They have like a two-piece axle on the right side, and they have a bearing retainer support in the center, and that's a little trickier than your standard axle. It's standard on these Camrys, but it's not standard on every car, and it can be a little tricky to get it apart. So we're fixing to get into that. Alright, as you can see, we have the passenger side axle out, which is typically the harder of the two axles to take out. And now we're going to move on to the driver's side axle. Had a camera failure, so I'll show you the breakdown on this side with a time lapse. Not really anything to it, it's just nuts and bolts. Real quick, there is one more thing I wanted to cover. When you're tearing down a project like this, you're going to have lots of nuts and bolts. As I said, there's nothing but nuts and bolts to take this apart. But what you want to keep in mind is keeping up with those nuts and bolts. So what I do is we have kids at home, so we go through a good bit of peanut butter in my house. I keep my peanut butter jars. Tear the paper label off. Take a spatula, scrape the inside out, and get it as clean as possible. Soak it with hot water, and then run them through your dishwasher. They'll come out, they're crystal clean and ready for use. Let them dry, and you're ready to put nuts and bolts in them. Take you a Sharpie, write on it what they go to if you need to, or they're handy to keep up with stuff. Another tip, especially when you're working with small components, so you're tearing something down on a bench, like a carburetor. You take the lid, lay it on the table, and you can lay all your small parts inside the lid, and you won't have to worry about them rolling off the table. But particularly if you're working on, like, you're doing something with a lawnmower carburetor, or you're doing something with any carburetor for that matter. Small parts have a tendency to get lost and roll away and get off your bench. But take a lid, sit there, it won't go anywhere. So, Tip Tuesday. Alright, I guess now they got everything moved over here. There. Trusty old Leatherman. But he asked me what tool do I recommend, what is my most favorite tool. I would have to go with my Leatherman. I use my Leatherman probably more than any other tool I own. That one's in there. Somebody wedged that one when they put it in. Not a good idea, guys. Not a good idea. It's coming. Alright, yay! I'll be on tell, it's hot. We're still in the throes of August here in mid-Mississippi. snug. Put some slick 'em on it. Give it a little help. And there she comes. Nut back on there till it's flush. Drive it back, put a little more slickum on it to get in there on the splines. Don't get old, guys. It's not for the faint of heart. Alright. See if I can find my 14. This one will do. Definitely going to be buying some brake pads. Don't know that the ones off of 96 will work. Own them, they're free. You check them. Or I may go to the junkyard and look around. Sometimes you get lucky and find some that are practically new. I've done that plenty of times. Wire. I feel I'm fixing to take me an H2O break. Alright, let's spin her around here. There we go. That'll hold it up out of the way. When I have an open caliper like that, and I have other people around, because I have teenagers that do silly stuff, I like to sometimes put a C-clamp on these calipers when I have them just hanging here. In case somebody accidentally gets in the vehicle and presses the brake pedal not thinking and pushes the piston all the way out, and then you have to buy a caliper. So if you'll take a C-clamp while these calipers are off the vehicle and hanging, if anybody accidentally presses the brake pedal, your pistons won't blow out. So I'm gonna have to leave it as it is for now because I don't know where my small C-clamps are. Alright, let's see. Turn this back around here. Oh, come on. Alright, now we've got to undo these little mama jamas. These are tight. Got to undo the main bolts for the strut. To the strut to knuckle bolts. Alright, let me find my other wrench. I don't know that you can see. Nope, you can't see. Okay. Take a couple minutes and work on my lighting for you. Now I'm going to be casting shadows, but I'm going to try to stay out of the way. These on the other side were extremely tight, so I ended up having to take a wrench and double wrenching it. Going to get them to break loose. My old Harbor Freight impact just wouldn't do it. Does a good job with most things. Does these axle nuts, but somebody had really worked on these. Guess they didn't want that alignment to move. There, the compressor had built up really good before they ran the impact down. These little darlings are tight. Alright, these are 22 millimeter, and if you're wondering, I'll say I don't have a 22 millimeter, but you have a 7/8. 7/8 will work on these. See if the impact's going to fit. Yep. Socks on a rooster. Alright. Spindle nut on. Axles. See, axles wiggling free. And to the side. Wiggle, wiggle. Come on. Come on, baby. Keep that axle pushed back. Find something to pry with. There we go. On back axle. Alright. Now for the thrilling part. You go underneath and pry the axle out of the transmission. Always a thrill. Always a thrill. Let's see if I can get you. Get on it straight. If you don't get on it straight, you're never gonna get it up. Alright, we're gonna try this. I don't know if this will work or not, but we're gonna give it a wing bang. Long slide hammer. I don't know if I can get up there or not. Try it. I think I can hold it tight to it. Well, nice try. I'm gonna turn the steering wheel the other way.
You're in it. Right there.
Why did you make it so hard, Toyota? Why did you make it so hard?
You're going to have to turn this because I can't line it up anymore.
Huh?
It's not, I can't line it up anymore.
That's fine, we'll turn it as soon as I get back under there.
What are you going to try now?
You're gonna keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna put the pry bar on it and bump it with a hammer. Oh, the sun is bright. Alright, and you should be there. That good?
That's it.
Alright. I tell you to put as much pressure on it as you can. I tell you. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Go for it. Oh! I think it went. It went. You ready?
Hold on.
Hey,
Oh.
there it is.
Hey! Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Now why do we need this thing out?
I have to take it out to get the engine out, silly.
Oh yeah, okay.
We're here today with my assistant, Lucy. She, a few minutes ago, you saw her help me assist get this axle shaft out of the driver's side of this 99 Camry. And this possibly could be her car when we get it done. She just turned of the driving age and she's going to start learning to drive here soon. And so she needs to learn a few of the basic maintenance tips and ideas and maintenance tips. Now she has the giggles. So she needs to learn a few of the basic maintenance items and what to do on an automobile in order to keep it up and going. So I figured while I had her out here helping me with this, get this axle out, we have to drain the fluids and all to remove the engine anyway. I thought I might go over a few things with her and start showing her how to work on the car. So, y'all come along.